Welcome to episode 2 of Court, a series adapted into audiobook, written by Michael Liverpool, a high-stakes drama where luxury, loyalty and lies collide. Please click the like button and subscribe. Enjoy.
Episode 2 of Caught. Prologue. The setup. The city never truly slept. Not in the districts where money insulated people from danger, and especially not in the neighborhoods where power was currency and fear was just background noise. Pilar Núñez crouched in the shadow of a stairwell, her black leather jacket zipped tight, her curls tucked into a low bun under a cap. Her breath came in slow, measured pulls, like a soldier preparing for a breach. The high-rise condo tower around her was sterile perfection, polished marble floors, chrome railings, recessed lighting that hummed faintly overhead. The air smelled of citrus cleaner and wealth. This wasn't the type of place crime happened. It was the kind of place that hired people to make crime disappear. And tonight, she was hunting one of those people, Reggie Klein. He was a political middleman with champagne tastes and whiskey habits, a man who liked to solve problems by making them vanish, and Cobalt Risk and Recovery had him cornered. Pilar's earpiece crackled softly. "Eyes on?" Johnny's voice, calm and steady, bled into her ear like the grounding note in a jazz track. She smirked. "Like a hawk. He's coming up the stairs." "Remember," Johnny said, "clean, fast. Get the admission, get out." Benjamin's voice cut in, low and teasing. "Or smack him around a little if he gives you trouble. I'll back you up." "Focus," Johnny warned. Pilar grinned. "Oh, I'm focused." The stairwell door opened, and Reggie Klein emerged, dressed in a charcoal suit that cost more than most people's rent. He carried himself like a man who thought he was untouchable. Not tonight. Pilar stepped out from the shadow and blocked his path. "Reggie Klein," she said, voice sharp as glass. "We need to talk." Reggie froze, his smirk curling like smoke. "Who the hell?" Pilar raised her phone, red light blinking. "Smile for the camera, you're busted." For 1 second, he just stared. Then he laughed, a deep, unsettling sound, and instead of running, he lunged. Scene 1. Collateral. The impact was brutal. Reggie slammed Pilar into the wall with the force of a man who'd been cornered one too many times. The marble was cold against her back, knocking the breath from her lungs. The mood shifted instantly. No more smug, no more talk, just violence. Pilar gritted her teeth, driving her elbow into his ribs, but he barely flinched. His hands were heavy, trained. He wasn't just a dirty fixer, he was dangerous. Before he could land another blow, a thunderous voice tore through the stairwell. "Hey!" Benjamin, 6'3", tailored coat flaring behind him like a cape, his shadow filled the doorway. His eyes burned like a man who enjoyed ending problems. Reggie didn't move fast enough. Benjamin grabbed him by the collar and slammed him into the opposite wall so hard the frame rattled. "Now," Benjamin said, voice low and calm, "we can do this soft, or we can do this broken." Reggie glared back at him, wild but grinning through it. "You don't get it," he hissed. "You're in his world now, and he doesn't lose." Behind Benjamin, Johnny appeared, tailored in midnight black, calm and unshakable. He didn't raise his voice, didn't raise his gun either. He just looked at Reggie with the quiet authority of a man who'd already won. "Walk away, Reggie," Johnny said evenly. Reggie laughed again, a jagged, ugly sound. "Tell Green I said hello," he sneered. Benjamin shoved him once, just hard enough to hurt, then released him. Reggie straightened his suit and sauntered up the stairs, his laugh echoing. Pilar wiped blood from the corner of her lip. "Next time I'm tasing him." Benjamin smirked. "Nah, next time I'm throwing him off the stairs." Johnny's gaze didn't leave the stairwell door. Because for the first time, he felt it. This wasn't just a job anymore, this was war. Scene 2. Damage control. The skyline was gray and heavy with clouds as Johnny stood in front of the panoramic windows of Cobalt HQ. The city stretched out below, a glittering sprawl of ambition and secrets. He sipped his coffee slowly, his reflection faint in the glass. Jaw clenched. Behind him, the war room was alive. Pilar sat at the oval table with her arm in a sling. Doctor's orders after Reggie Klein's attack left her with a sprained shoulder. She looked annoyed, not hurt, tapping her acrylic nails against the table in rapid-fire frustration. "This is some bull," Pilar muttered. "Man puts his hands on me and he gets to walk?" Benjamin leaned against the far wall, arms folded across his broad chest, his expression carved from stone. "I should have put him through the drywall." "You would have enjoyed it," Lana said dryly. sliding into the room in a cream blazer and sharp heels that clicked against the polished concrete. But that's not the problem. Johnny turned from the window, coffee still in hand. What's the problem? Lana dropped a folder onto the table. Inside photos, surveillance stills, documents, all of it pointed to one name. Reggie Klein, Senator Gary Green. Pilar whistled low. Wow, subtle. Lana's voice was crisp. Green's been moving pieces quietly. Reggie's not just his fixer, he's his firewall. Anyone who pushes too hard on Klein is going to feel it from Green. And guess what? We just shoved him. Benjamin cracked his neck. Let him shove back, see what happens. Johnny held up a hand. No, this isn't street level anymore. We play it smart or we lose everything. Green doesn't bark, he buries. The room fell silent. Johnny stepped closer to the table, setting his coffee down and leaning over the folder. From this point forward, he said, his tone even and cold, we run this quiet. Every file goes off-grid. No phones, no digital trails. Pilar, you sit this one out until your shoulder's good. Pilar scowled. Like hell. You nearly got laid out by Klein. You'll take a step back until I say otherwise. She looked ready to argue but stopped when Johnny's eyes met hers. That quiet, immovable authority. The one that made even Benjamin hold back sometimes. Benjamin pushed off the wall. Fine. So what's the play? Johnny glanced toward the board. Reggie's photo, Green's photo, a list of shell companies and offshore accounts Pilar had dug up last week. We don't hit Green. We hit the foundation under him, Johnny said. We make Klein bleed money, bleed options, bleed confidence. When he panics, he drags Green down with him. Pilar smirked. Now that sounds fun. Lana folded her arms. You do realize if this goes wrong, Green won't just send lawyers. He'll send someone who doesn't knock. Johnny didn't flinch. Then we make sure they don't get through the door. The room was quiet for a moment. Then Benjamin grinned. Guess it's time to sharpen the knives. Later that night. Senator Green's office. The senator's office was quiet, lit only by the glow of the city bleeding through the floor-to-ceiling windows. Green sat behind his desk, hands folded neatly over a set of documents he hadn't read in an hour. Reggie Klein stood across from him, shirt collar loosened, jaw slightly bruised from Benjamin's shove. Green's voice was calm, but it cut like piano wire. You got sloppy. Reggie shifted. They came at me hard. That Nunez woman blindsided me. Green looked up, eyes cold and unreadable. Then maybe you should have hit harder. Reggie hesitated. What do you want me to do? Green leaned back in his chair. I want you to send them a message. Reggie smirked. Something loud? Green shook his head. No, loud gets headlines. I want something personal. He reached into his desk, pulled out a folder and slid it across the polished wood. Reggie opened it. His grin widened. Oh, this is going to be fun. Scene 3. The senator's reach. The next morning started with an unease that none of them could shake. Cobalt HQ, normally a sanctuary of precision and control, felt different. The floor-to-ceiling windows let in soft gray light from a cloudy skyline, but the mood in the war room was darker than the weather. Johnny stood at the head of the table, hands braced on the polished walnut surface, staring at the board covered in pinned evidence. Reggie Klein, Alder Path, Terrence Lyle, and now, Senator Gary Green. Lana entered with her tablet. You're going to want to see this. She tapped the screen. A news article flashed on the wall-mounted display. Private investigator firm under review for unethical surveillance practices. Benjamin cursed under his breath. That's us? Anonymous sources, Lana said, all conveniently leaked to a blog that has ties to Green's communications director. Pilar rolled her eyes. Of course, classic smear play. Johnny didn't flinch. He's testing us, seeing if we fold. Benjamin's jaw flexed. Then maybe we should push back. Johnny turned, calm but sharp. Not yet. Green's expecting rage. He's expecting mistakes. We're not giving him either. Pilar leaned back in her chair, rubbing her sore shoulder. So what, we just sit here while he swings? Johnny shook his head. No, we plan, and we let him believe we're rattled. Lana smirked faintly. He's gonna hate that. Later that afternoon, Johnny's condo. Johnny's building was secure. 24-hour concierge, biometric entry, security cameras on every floor. That's why the envelope on his door hit differently. No address, no stamp, just his name written in sharp, precise handwriting. He scanned the hallway. Empty. He picked it up, took it inside, and opened it. Inside was a single photo, Maya, at her school playground. The note beneath it was short. "Stay out of Green's way. Last warning." Johnny's fingers tightened around the paper until it crumpled. His jaw clenched, but his breathing stayed even. Not fear, not anger, focus. He picked up his phone. "Ben, bring everyone in, now." Cobalt HQ. Emergency briefing. The air in the office was electric. Pilar leaned forward on the table, her expression sharper than usual. Lana sat with her arms crossed, watching Johnny like she already knew what he was going to say. Benjamin leaned against the wall, hands in his pockets, but his eyes were ready for a fight. Johnny tossed the photo onto the table. They all stared. Benjamin's jaw flexed. "He went after your kid?" Johnny nodded once. Pilar's voice was low, dangerous. "Okay, that's it. Gloves off." Johnny met their eyes, steady and calm, but the weight in his voice carried like a storm. "He just made it personal. So now, we make it professional." Lana raised a brow. "Meaning what?" Johnny pointed at the board. "We stop reacting, we take control, we find his weakest point and we hit it so hard he won't know which way is up." Benjamin cracked a grin. "Now we're talking." Pilar grabbed her laptop. "Then I'm digging into Klein again. Nobody's that clean." Lana added, "I'll start pulling every financial tie Green's tried to bury. If there's even one skeleton in that man's closet, I'll find it." Johnny nodded once. "Good," he said. "Because if Green wants a war..." He looked at the photo of Maya again, then tacked it to the board like a reminder. "He just got one.